Welcome back. We're here at the Famous Monsters podcast, covering everything evil stairs, covering everything fan base from horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. We have come back 2 weeks ago from San Diego Comic-Con, which was a crazy trip. And I have with me Lenny.
Hey.
Phil.
Hey.
Chase.
What's up?
Of course, I'm George. And it was a crazy experience for all of us. But for those who are lucky, there was some nice talk about the second season of The Exorcist, which has been an amazing, crazy show. Second season comes back this September 29th. We're all pretty pumped about it. Luckily for us, some of us haven't been watching it all that much because of all the other things that we try to get prepared. And we're always like, oh, the movie comes out. So we have some people like Eleni who have actually watched the first season, luckily. What can you tell us about it so far?
It's a really amazing sort of like new adaptation that goes off of the original movie. It takes place in the same universe. I can't really say how in case for those who haven't seen it.
Spoil us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a whole year to watch season one.
That's fair. Okay.
So what is it a new sexier Linda Blair character? And she's like, anyway,
No, it actually the main. You don't realize that the main family is actually Reagan's family until you get pretty far into the season. Like it takes like most of the first season to even reveal that, and so it just kind of seems like this new family that is sort of like a power player, like in their city, works really closely with the church, super religious, and so. One of the daughters starts getting possessed, and so they're working with a couple priests on the exorcism. It kind of plays off of the...
So what does that look like? Like, does she start, like, saying bad words?
It's actually...
It is on Fox after all, yeah.
I mean, it's actually pretty hardcore. Like, there's not just, like, one singular demon. It's like, as they kind of go through the city, you see that there's, like, homeless people are possessed like crazy. And, like,
they are.
There's a ton...
The movie. I'm sorry. I thought you meant our street.
No.
We're not in California.
No, okay.
But there's a ton of demonic activity, and it kind of does a little bit of a riff off the original because there's an inexperienced priest who is like pretty genuine and really wants to help this family, and then there's like a sort of embittered, actually like alcoholic, like older priest who has experience with the exorcism. So it kind of...
So like every priest I've ever met.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
I'm kidding.
Bad film.
I grew up Catholic, so I apologize. I'm a recovering Catholic. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, no more from Altar Boy Phil.
So you kind of think that it's just like this family that is kind of going through this, and the demon has randomly possessed this girl until you find out that she's actually Reagan's daughter. And Reagan has been going by a different name because her mom, if you remember the movie, is like a big celebrity, wrote a book about their whole experience, and then kind of took her on like a book tour and sort of took over her entire childhood by turning her into the girl that was possessed, and turned it into like a PR kind of thing. She profited off of it basically, and she wanted to distance herself from it, so she changed her name, and no one in her family knew that girl was actually her until you find out like way later.
So wow, that's interesting. So basically so I just want to kind of go through the world. So basically Reagan gets possessed, spits out pea soup, gets her spine twisted and wrapped around in a circle, and then her mom went to sell T-shirts off this. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, after they exercise it, basically she...
Sounds right.
That's what happens with all kinds of like...
Wow, so she's like a stage mom.
Yeah, and she's actually in it. Like the mom comes in as a character later who has been totally estranged from her family because Reagan was basically like, I don't want you in my life because you profited off of the worst thing that ever happened to me. And now it's happening to my daughter too.
So this is Gina Davis's character that you're speaking of then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Gina Davis is the mother.
Yeah, so
she's Reagan. She actually plays Reagan. She just is going by a different name, and it's her daughter who is possessed.
This is a great cast.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because me and Chase started watching it pretty much recently.
Yeah,
and now knowing like how how she acts in the beginning. It's like, wow, she's very attuned to the whole demon thing. Like, she's free talking about
like,
that like it's whatever.
She's like, this seems like something's going on. It's like, how do you know? Like, how do you know it's like not just your kid having a mood swing? It's like, bones. Like, no, demons.
Yeah, because she went like really hardcore. She's like, I'm 100% sure this is an exorcism. You have to exorcise her right now. Like, she's possessed. And he's like, whoa, okay, like that doesn't really happen that much. She knows from experience. So it kind of explains what seems like crazy, overprotective mom.
Or just bad writing. Well, no, I mean, seriously, it's like when you see those movies, like, I know, I won't say it, but those things that transform, it's like, well, it's like, how do you know that? But now that makes sense. I like it when something seems to start out like, what? And then like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. The show, the way that they wrote it is like really, I feel like it's really smart, and it really like, you can tell it's for the fans of the like original movie, because it plays into all the good parts of it and then expands it. Because each episode is kind of like a small movie in itself, and then it just goes on and on like for the full season.
So I have to admit, like, I have never seen this show. I want to see it now, but so I'm gonna be the audience that didn't see it. So I'm gonna represent them.
We got a nice bit of levels. Like, she's actually watched most of it. We started watching it, and you're the newcomer.
Yeah, no, I'm totally like when I first saw Exorcist, this was back in the 70s. I was like, my parents are great parents, but what they were thinking.
Wait, did your parents let you actually go to the theater and watch this?
Well,
because they would have to take you, because it was like rated X back then.
It was my sister. It was my
Seriously.
sister. So what would happen is my sister was 16. And again, this is like late 70s. There were no laws. Ever. Like, there were no laws. It was just like cavemen and then, no. So my sister, who was like my best friend at the time, she was 16 and I was like 9 or 10. She'd be like, just pretend, go under the covers and just be in the back seat. And she would take me to drive-ins. Oh man. I got to tell you, I mean, if I were to have gotten a psychologist, it'd be a lot of money explaining on what happened to me. But because you got 6 screens, and I'm watching like, what's her name? Policewoman. Remember the lady who played Policewoman? You know who I'm talking about. She would play all of these kind of, like, a lot of like exploitative movies, and that was being played on one screen.
Was it like Pam Grier?
No. Well, but it was in that era. She was. Oh man, she was the blonde Pam Grier, and then you'd have like Camp Boy or Sleepaway Camp. I mean, you would. I'm like 9 years old. I'm going, this is the best place ever. And then I would see some of what was in front of me. But that's when I saw Exorcist, and I was like, I was so terrified. But I loved horror movies. Like, I watched Carrie, and it was so frightening. Like, I just shoved my head behind like the couch, and or not the couch, but the cushions in the couch, and I fell asleep, and then I like wake up sweating right at the scene where she's like all bloodied up at the end. And I mean, I'm surprised like there are no dead bodies in my
basement, backyard.
That's a good sign, because I'm guessing that would happen with a lot of our families. I feel like a lot of this.
Did you see it like that? Like,
a lot of us kind of started in when we were really young. It's like, probably shouldn't be watching this, but now we love it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, if you don't end up becoming a serial killer, you end up becoming a famous monster.
Yeah.
Jury's still out for George, so I don't know.
I haven't gotten caught yet.
There you go.
That's what matters.
In my eyes, you haven't done it then.
Exactly.
You're good.
Yeah.
If they don't find the body, was they really... No, how's it going
What
in the
body?
forest? Anyway, never mind.
See, that's what I like, is that most people I know watched the movie at a young age, whether you watched it when it came out in the theater or if you were born in the 80s, 90s, whatever, like everyone for some reason watches The Exorcist or Exorcist films like at like, I was 5 years old or whatever.
Right.
You know, like my mom watched it when she was a kid. Her grandmother took her to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a super religious woman, I might add, all right, and who also practiced like Santeria and stuff. And she's like,
lesson.
yeah, she's like, okay. She's like,
That was a documentary.
who knows? Probably. But she took her to watch it, and she was scared, like pretty much shitless out of this. Like, why would you want to see this? And my mom's like, a little kid's like, a big box of popcorn. It's like, this is great. More blood, yes, please. My mom was a weird person, hence why I came out the way I came out. But she loved it so much.
Federal government.
Yeah. She takes care of all of our taxes. But and she loved it, and then I was born, and 5 years later, she's like, "I loved this when I was a kid. Now I want you to see it." And I must have been an odd child because growing up from like 5 on, I've watched it many times. I love this movie, and for some reason though, I found it hilarious. Like the weirdest part. So like when she's like telling the priest like, your mother sucks on the hills, you know, and I was like, she's told him that her mother does bad things. This is great, you know, but. At the same time,
neighborhood that you were. No kidding.
I don't know. I was born in an all-white neighborhood. I was the only Spanish guy. So yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah,
I can kind of get that though because it's so like over the top that it's almost kind of comical.
Yeah.
Like you said, she's literally spitting pea soup, and it looks
but
like the stuff that you see on.
Like that though.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but that's you kind of
in
like.
the 80s, the rappers weren't talking like that.
Right.
You expect that. You don't expect some little girl just being like, your mother sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my
She's taking the
goodness.
crucifix and putting it in place. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, this is an edgy film.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, when I watched this was rated X. And now you're watching it and it's rated R.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. And she's like, when your kid watches it, it'll probably be PG-13. Who knows?
You know, they wouldn't even rate Night of the Living Dead when it first came out. They wouldn't. And when Romero used to go to, and you know, God bless his soul, truly, when he used to go to, you know, because, you know, back in the 60s, it wasn't like now where if you're not out on the red carpet in front of a step and repeat, 2 seconds after your movie's out, nobody cares anymore because it's torrented by 1.5 million people. Back then, you were able to like go on a tour with your movie, especially the independent films. You would go and contract these. They weren't even called art house. There was no such thing as art house films back then. What they were like I don't want to call them Nickelodeon, but second run theaters. Yeah. They would also play the independent movies. So yeah, I mean they would the ratings, like they didn't even know what to do with this because it's like, you know, zombies eat, like they'd never seen anything like
Movies
that.
like these were so edgy and no one ever seen stuff like this before. People was being dismembered like that.
Yeah. Well, they considered George Romero pornographer. Back then. Yeah.
And I mean, even with The Exorcist, there were like people fainting, like in the theater, like reports of people like losing their minds and like passing out in the movie theater because they were like so afraid.
Yeah, it was like the first Hostel.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? I mean, if you think about it, society was so different. I mean, we were so different that, you know, a movie that now is a television show was like rated, you know, X, and people were passing out. It's, amazing.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The thing that really made us want to talk about this stuff is like me and Chase often have conversations about Exorcist movies for some odd reason. I don't know why. And we heard that Eleni was such a fan.
Oh my God, they're my favorite.
Because of The Exorcist, it spawned many exorcism films over the past like 20 to 30 years. Many that probably weren't as good. And then some others that we kind of just don't even, because we've seen so many bad ones, like, well, I don't want to give this other one a chance. But there's some really good golden ones that float by. And there's one that you liked.
Yeah.
That people kind of just don't talk about for some reason.
Yeah, one of them, it's actually one of my like top 2 favorite horror movies. So I gotta clear my throat. Everyone prepare.
Oh no.
There it is. Okay.
For sure, that didn't cover anything. I think we got all that.
I tried. The Last Exorcism.
That's one of my favorites
don't
too.
confuse that with like the last like the last part of the Exorcism series. Like no, it's the movie's called The Last Exorcism. I always feel like when I say that, people
That's not
think,
the one with Emily Rose, right?
No, that's what I
Exorcism of Emily Rose is another really good
That's
one.
a pretty good one too, yeah.
I love
there's
it.
like there's like 3 or 4 Exorcism of fill in some girl's name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
they're
then
all
this
over
one's
Netflix.
just called.
It's always a girl. They're always a little hot. Probably a little
That's
too
because it's
young.
creepier, probably.
And then they're like literally bending backwards, and
you
they're
don't
like,
see many
"That's
guys
not
do it."
attractive. I'm done."
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Well, that's
There's obviously a
cool
sex
thing-
cell situation.
Yeah, but the cool thing about The Last Exorcism is that it kind of needed to be a girl because it had to do with like this weird sort of like
the cult kind of action
Like-
going on with it.
yeah.
And something that's like, I really like it because in a lot of the movies they have this kind of like falling away from the faith and coming back to it kind of thing with exorcism movies, and they do it in this too. But he starts off as like a child preacher. It's like he's raised religiously and he's like a kid and he's like, oh yeah, I know, I was in the paper back in the day. I was like this child that would do sermons and stuff. And so he grows up to become an exorcist, and like he leads his church and all this stuff. And he's just the whole time he's not believing what he's doing because he's setting up stuff. He's like, yeah, this is a fake device I have. I have this. I push a button and smoke comes out of this. You know, he's like, these are all tricks that I do because like they need the exorcism mentally to because they're healthy, they're okay. They
So
Yeah.
he's not conning people. He's trying to, in a sense, a placebo exorcism.
Yeah.
Because
So,
they're
like the
mentally ill,
psychological-
not possessed.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's
Right.
not even the fact. It's not even so much that they're mentally ill. It's just they're at the moment mentally afflicted.
Yeah.
It's like a temporary thing. It's like they could be totally fine normally, but then they could just get in their head like, oh yep, I'm possessed by a demon. And it's like, oh well, here you go. I'm gonna fix you up. He's like, he knows it's not really happening with them, but then like he decides he's gonna do like this documentary with these people. And he's like, I'm gonna come out, like I'm gonna show you guys all the tricks I do. And I'm just gonna expose everything and just point it out for the fraud that it is. And on this trip, he's like, okay, so this is the last exorcism I'm gonna do. And that leads into that girl and that whole situation. And then stuff starts getting really creepy because this guy that's being skeptic and saying like, I don't believe this stuff, it's not real. All of a sudden he's like, oh crap, stuff's getting real.
So is this because a lot of these things are loosely based on some event? Is this like that, or is this just complete fiction?
I think it's just complete.
It was by Eli Roth actually.
Okay,
And it
yeah.
had like
And
that.
it's
It's that found footage kind of look too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's
set up
like
to look
first person
like
camera.
Yeah, it's set up to look like a documentary because that's the idea of it.
Yeah,
It's like-
he's surprisingly a good filmmaker. His stuff is all gonzo, but he's surprisingly, for as, I can't think of any other word right now, so I'll be inarticulate and say, for as dirty as his films look, I enjoy him immensely.
No, I compare him to something like a Tarantino, where you see like he's a fan of like those old maybe like grindhouse kind of films, and he pays
actually-
tribute to that.
Yeah.
You know the movie that they made that they were showing in the theater in Inglourious Bastards? Eli Roth directed that movie in the setting of Inglourious Bastards, so totally like he works with Tarantino sometimes, and he was in it as an actor, but he directed the German movie.
Which side note, I don't know if anyone, since we're talking about 70s cult films like Exorcist, anyone remember Death Wish at all with Charles Bronson? They're doing. They just announced they're doing a remake, and Eli Roth is doing. He's directing
that's
it
awesome.
with Bruce Willis as.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's got to get his accent down. Hey, yous. That's what he used to say.
Yeah.
Yous. I'm like, aren't those female animals of some sort? Yous.
Oh, sheep.
Yeah.
Hey, yous.
Yeah, that's just a
love
little
Charles
side note. He was the badass of the 70s. You didn't mess with that guy. You crossed him. That's it. You were dead.
No. They always mess with
that was
that guy.
mistake,
like family members would be horribly, mangled, and then he went. So you always messed with that guy and then died.
He was like the first live action Punisher.
It's true.
But I feel pretty solid that they probably based the Punisher off of him in some way.
I'll be really interested to see what this new Death Wish looks like because, always the bad guys were some minority group.
It's true. It's very true.
So I'm like, you were either of brown descent or of darker than that descent. So it would be really interesting to see a movie trying to captured.
Well, I saw the trailer this morning. The only person I saw getting tortured was, he looked like a biker kind of dude in a garage.
So of course they're all white guys.
Yeah, so they switched it kind of a little bit.
They'll
you know?
like Chase.
Yeah. Yeah, dude had a beard, longish hair. And there may have been a car that was dropped on top of him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's Eli Roth,
May
so
or may
there's
not.
going to be the violence get kicked up a notch.
So does Bruce Willis go, what's his name? Iron Man.
Tony Stark?
Does he? No, the actor.
Robert Downey Jr.
Does he go Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder, or is he actually a Caucasian male?
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay.
It's, Bruce Willis is still Bruce Willis as we know him. You know? Instead of Die Hard, it's just Death Wish.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, sorry. To go on about The Exorcist.
So back to The Exorcist.
It blew my mind when you said
You mentioned Eli Roth, and I was like, oh, I just saw that today.
And something I was thinking, there's kind of like just a little connection kind of thing between that and the Exorcist series, or the new TV show. He, see, I lost it now. You're talking about Charles Bronson.
Oh, then that means that it wasn't as cool as you wanted it to be.
It was so good, and then he went on a 10-minute tangent.
It's called a podcast.
Oh, it's about religious people being skeptic about it. Like he's saying, like, I'm pretty sure, like in the movie, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that afterwards he'd be like, now you should go see this doctor because you just got your body's fixed. Now we got to make sure your brain is on the same level as your body. So he'd be like undercover sending them to therapists. And in like the first 2 episodes of The Exorcist, the new TV show, that happens. Like in the first episode, it's one of the higher ups from the church comes and he's like, "You need to take that boy to the hospital." He's like, "No, don't do it. Like, I need to help him." And then in the second one, they're like, "See, this video showing like what's wrong with my daughter, or what's wrong with her daughter." He's like, "Oh, she just needs a therapist," you know. So it's kind of like a shifting to where the church was back in the day. It seems more like they're like, "Yeah, you need the exorcism," and now it's like, back up. We're not trying to get any publicity with exorcisms. Take them to a doctor, you know. And it's like now when they actually need the exorcism, so it's kind of fun little.
Yeah, it's true. In that first episode, like when she comes up, Gina Davis's character Reagan comes up to the priest that they go to. She's like, "My son's out with my daughter. My house is haunted, whatever." Like, and he's like, "No, I have a fan in my home, and the fan goes taka 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 taka." That's what it is. He tries to find like every excuse of like, "Oh, well, you know what it is. Like she was in a car accident. It's in her head." It's like no, it's a demon. It's like, okay, like you see in his face, it's like a demon. She's crazy. And this is a guy preaching about the Lord every day, and he doesn't want to believe her at all. Like you totally see it. It's like no, you're not right.
Yeah, but I mean that part. Whenever I used to watch horror movies, and you're like, there are 17 other houses in this neighborhood. Why are you going to the one that's boarded up, that's got the front door clink, clack, clack, clack? So you're like, well, that's a stupid plot to drive you into this. But the exorcism part, I kind of agree with, because you don't see it every day, but you see a lot of mentally ill people.
Yeah.
So what do you like? Oh, it's all exorcism. So that actually, I believe that's how it would be, and the frustration feels real. So yeah.
Plus, like now that you know that she has experience because she was the person who was possessed, like it almost kind of adds that other like dimension, like going back and rewatching episodes after you know that, and like picking up on like, of course the church is going to be hesitant to do exorcisms when Reagan's mom kind of did this huge like publicity thing, and I'm sure that everything just like spiked after that. Like if you think about it, like I'm sure everyone was just like, I'm possessed, my daughter's possessed, and tried to hop on the bandwagon a little bit.
Crowdfund my daughter's exorcism.
That would be an interesting idea.
GoFundMe.
It's like that one priest that was doing exorcisms over Skype on cell phones that he thought would be. Oh yeah, you guys
really
didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah. There was like something about like I think it was two separate things. There was one priest that was convinced that there were cell phones that were being possessed by demons, and that's how they were trying to, come into the world instead of through people, because presumably that's easier. But there's also someone who was charging money to do exorcisms over Skype.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get an email from a Nigerian prince telling me I need an exorcism.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send him some money.
Honestly, he needs it.
But kind of going back to Regan, like, I'm going to probably get bashed for this, but I mean, really, if you went through that, like, should you really be having children after that? I mean, you kind of like, that's kind of like, it's like the word, you know what I'm saying?
I'd actually find it hard to believe she could have children after that.
Yeah.
I mean, the crucifix.
Yeah.
It wasn't a baby crucifix. That was a decent-sized crucifix.
But it felt more topical. I don't think it.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah. My point is, okay, skipping again, I'm just saying, like, should you be having kids after? No.
Well,
the answer is no.
That's why she changed her name. That's why.
Yeah. Well, apparently she's learned her lesson now that her daughter has been messed up
She
for
should
6
not have
episodes.
kids.
No.
It needs to end.
We need to end this cycle.
No more exorcisms.
Actually, her husband got hurt too. It happened before the season started, but he has like a head injury. Yeah. It's actually Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
I was trying to pin it.
It is.
I saw him. I was
That's
like,
perfect casting, because in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he looked like he had a head injury, and that's.
And was possessed.
Yeah.
He was just, I think that's just his
Dead
shtick.
He always had that dumb look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the
Just standing
character,
there
but
straight.
it's perfect casting. I haven't seen it, but I can see it.
Oh yeah, he looks the exact same, just with gray hair.
Yeah.
Which
In
is
Ferris
really
Bueller, he was like, 35 years old already?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. He was in his 30s when that movie came out. Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Like Ralph Macchio was like 98 when he was playing a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Fact.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Karate Grandpa.
Mr. Miyagi was younger than he was. Not true story, but almost.
Don't believe him, Chase. Not
That's
everything's
why,
real.
By Karate Kid 3, he looked like just.
It was a karate man.
Yeah.
It's like karate senior. How did you become Miyagi like that? No. Yeah.
So what other Exorcist movies are you guys fans of?
Well, I like I guess it kind of goes with demon possessions. One of my favorite campy possession movies was it was a adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's instead of Mountains of Madness, it was In the Mouth of Madness, and it was with Sam what's his name, Sam Neill, from The Omen. And he basically they end up in this town and people get possessed. And
that guy just has consistent demon problems.
Oh yeah. He got typecast. I mean, but it was not like a hugely great movie, but it was so entertaining, and it was scary because like his. I guess it was a little while back, so I don't quite remember the story. But what I remember is like his girlfriend or the lady friend that he had a romantic interest with gets possessed, and she just like contorts, like cracks backwards. Her head turns around, and she's on all fours, but backwards. So like her spine is like the belly of the dog,
Right.
And then she's like, "Do you love me now?" or something.
Oh my God.
Running after him. And he's like, "What do you do? Shoot that?" You're like,
Yeah.
Now.
Now I do.
All my dreams have come true.
It's like this,
Wouldn't that make it worse?
It's just like, I remember scenes like whenever, I think the most frightening thing, and I think this is the vehicle that filmmakers use, is just that contortion. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, and that crack.
Oh,
You do that
totally.
crack.
It was the same in I think someone brought up the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and
that was one of the best like back-breaking contortion scenes ever.
The best part of any exorcism movie or show is the actual exorcism itself, right?
Yeah,
because that's when everything's happening. That's when stuff is flying around the room and all that, and of course the back-breaking and everything. And that one, first of all, not only was the exorcism scene really long and really intense, like out in the barn with that like one single light, and all the voices coming out of her, but the fact that they looked at it from a legal standpoint, since like it was like half exorcism movie, half like courtroom drama.
Yeah, I bet our lawyer friend Josh Gilliland would love a take at that.
Yeah.
Do demons have rights? If you're non-corporeal, do you have physical rights?
Did you see that movie?
No. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I did. I started to, and I got to honestly tell you, I believe a lot of things I don't believe in. I won't get into it because it'll end my career. But there's a lot of things I don't believe in. The one thing that I absolutely believe in is spiritual apparitions. I believe in black magic. I've experienced. Well, can we get into like our personal experiences with?
Most definitely, because this is where the cinematic aspect gets interesting. Is when the personal experiences. What have you experienced?
So, I had a friend back in post college, and he was, he was one of these guys who was like a player, and he always had a good-looking woman on his arms, and he, his family had a little bit of money, and they owned a cabin, and they bought this cabin. The story goes, I don't really know the story. I'll just tell you what my experience, but the backstory was, they bought this cabin for next to nothing. It's deep in the woods, deep in the woods. And so deep in the woods, there's like no street lights. It's like just barely paved road to the cabin.
I want to go there.
Yeah. Well, and the dad had started renovating it. It was a wreck, and stopped because he didn't feel comfortable there. So he had let it sit there until his son, who's my friend, was old enough to start working on it. And he said, if you want it, it's yours. I'm thinking, what a great dad, right? Just go get yourself killed.
Right.
So he goes in there, and they were a good family, but he goes there and he starts working on this thing. And he invites myself and, there's 2 ladies, there's 4 of us. And
sounds like a perfect horror film already.
Yeah, no, it really was. And so we go to this cabin. And I can go the long way, but I'm just going to give you the short story. We go there. The deck had no planks, so you couldn't get out of one side of the deck door, and so there was a lot of hazards to this place. And he would, his whole goal was to try to scare me in front of the ladies, and so we were young, so
macho.
I'm trying not to be scared. So while all this is going on, I'm seeing, this was an amazingly big cabin. It wasn't that big, but there was a lot of little rooms in there. So to get to the restroom that works, you had to go through this room that had all of these things filled. And I don't know till this day if it was true or not, but he said these are still belongings from the last owners. Well, apparently in this cabin, a boy had died, or something terrible had happened to him. And so he would tell us about this spirit that haunted this cabin. And I thought up to that point I did not believe, or certainly I didn't give it much thought. It wasn't like I was dogmatically not believing. I'm just like, whatever. But I get in there and he's telling me this, and he's telling all of us this, and the girls are all scared and they're huddling up close. Anyways, I go to the bathroom. The first thing I see is I go to the bathroom. There's this mirror, this old gilded framed mirror, beautiful mirror. And it's just out of horror film. And I walk by. And I have anti-reflective lenses in my glasses. I don't get glares. And I get this whoosh, like I see it from the side in the mirror. I look over, and there's nothing there. I kept seeing this here and there from the corner as if it's a reflection on lenses that has no reflection.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that happened. And I'm talking to him about it, and now he's kind of getting freaked out, and he's settling down. We have dinner. We go to a bar afterwards to get some drink. We were young, so more drinks. When we come back, all the wine glasses and all the, anything that had, with the water glasses, they were all scooted right into the center of the dining table. And I took a notice of it because all the candles were on. And I'm thinking, this guy is effing with me. Now I'm getting pissed. Because I am freaking out a little bit because I'm seeing, the shadows in the corner of my eyes. And so I'm like, stop busting my balls. I'm going to kind of lose it in front of these girls, and I don't want that to happen. So he's like, I didn't do that. I did not do that. I'm like, whatever.
I did not do that, Mark.
I'm not believing this guy. Because I can't believe it. Because now if I believe it, I got to run out of there screaming like a 12-year-old girl. So I'm like, you're an a-hole. And, I'm not believing in this. So we go into another room that had the TV. It was an unfinished bedroom. So we had the TV there. And while we were watching the TV, all of a sudden we hear crash. I walk out, so he's like, can you go check that out? I'm like, what?
That's so rude.
He asked me this in front of two very lovely ladies. I'm like, okay, I got it. So I walk out, and this was a very old cabin, like built in like the 1918 or 1928. So the ironing board was one of these boards that were in the wall with the door. And that thing had come out. So how the dining room table was the head of it was at where this ironing board was. So remember what I told you is all the stemware and stuff were pushed to the center, and this thing had hit it and literally shattered every single glass. Every single glass. And I'm like, Sean, get your butt out here. And he comes out and he goes, okay. He's like, okay, all joking aside, now we've disturbed something. And I said, well, I'm trying not to freak out. I'm like, well, it's just the, ironing board thing. And if you push, he goes, I didn't push that there. I didn't turn on the candle. And let me tell you something else. That thing had been painted over so many years, for so many times. I couldn't get a razor blade to cut through the paint to remove that, to repair it behind. So I left shortly after that. I'm like, ladies, have a good night. Gone.
Game over.
Game over.
Game over, man.
Game over, man.
And that wasn't the only time, but it was the most entertaining of all the stories and the most succinct. And so ever since then, I'm just like,
there's something.
I'm going to believe you. I'm going to believe you, and I'm going to let you handle it, and I will be on the other side of the city.
Deal.
How about you guys?
Oh, that's crazy. Well, for me growing up, I'm very much like yourself. Like, I've been believing in, like, there's something out there, kind of mentality since I was a child. And my parents are always very open to those kind of things. So, open religion, open to everything. And like I said, my grandmother practiced Santeria, just like Sublime did. Yeah.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. Yeah. But she did.
Okay.
And so there was always that heavy belief. But since that was practiced in my household, my mom never wanted to touch it because she's like, dark shit happens. Yeah. And she had her own situations that would happen, which, like, quick backstory for my mother of why this creeped into my life was she had a dream when she was like probably 14 years old in her home alone. Mm-hmm. She was walking around the house. She heard something and she turns around, sees something in a mirror, and there's this demon in the mirror. She turns around, no demon, looks back, demon in the mirror, turns around, demon's there. Wakes up, obviously scared shitless. And her grandmother's like, all right, I'm going to fix this. Does her little black magic stuff, put something under the bed and everything, and tries to take care of it. Next day, fully awake now, everything that she dreamed the night before is now happening. So now she's hearing the sound. She's walking down the hallway. She looks in the mirror, sees the demon face, wide awake, just all by herself. And it's the accident. So now once it fully completes, she runs into her room, locks the door. This is the 70s. There are no cell phones or everything. Right. She's just waiting like 8 hours until a parent comes home.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Grandmother and the grandfather come home, and they're like, Desiree, why are you in the bedroom? And she's like, it happened. The dream I had happened.
Yeah.
And so now, like, there's full-blown candles and everything. My mother tells me this story.
Somebody's getting sacrificed that night.
Yeah, My mother tells me this story because of a story I ended up having to tell her when I was around like 6-7 years old. We live in this apartment building. I shouldn't say apartment building. It's like a house turned into. Yeah. Kind of converted. So we're living on the third floor that used to be an attic. Yeah. So it got converted into an apartment.
Yeah, they're called flats.
Yeah.
Yeah, flats.
Yeah. So we're in there for about a year or two, or whatever. We notice in the wall there's actually this hidden door. So we're like, oh, a cool little hidden door. What does this go to? And we end up like scraping it down, opening it up, and there's like this dingy room. Like you could tell this room's never been opened, for who knows how many years. And so it has like this old wooden, like almost like rotting kind of look to it. And there's chains in there. This isn't creepy at all.
Oh my gosh.
So we do that. We look in there. I think it's super cool. My dad uses it for whatever.
George, look, you got a bedroom now.
If only. I did offer it for my little brother when he was born. It's like, why can't he have that room? But some days pass. I'm now alone in the home because my parents went to pick something at the corner store real quick, and they're going to be back like 5-10 minutes. It's like nothing.
And you were 6?
So like I'm like 6-7 years old. I'm in my room playing with my toys or whatever. I hear some sounds. I was like, what is that? And like, whatever. I don't pay much mind to it. But then all of a sudden I hear something again. I look up and there's a girl at my doorway. A blonde girl with like a white dress or whatever.
Was she hot?
No, it was like probably my age.
Oh, okay. Never
so
mind.
not even thinking of hotness at that point in time.
Who's this girl in my room?
Yeah. I was like,
my Legos.
Okay. And this again, I'm wide awake, not dreaming or anything. But I'm scared, of course. So it's like I just stayed there, did not move. My parents come home, sees me. She's like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And she's like, "I have not moved." Eventually, I explained to her what happened.
Was the girl still there when they came up on the ship?
No, eventually went away. But I was just there.
How'd she go away?
Still, she walked away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Our doors are locked. There's no way someone's coming in. And so I tell my mom what happened eventually. And she's like, okay. She's like, don't worry. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Later on that night, I sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. And then I see her again. And she starts walking into my room. I call my mom this time. And she came in and protected me.
Did this happen very shortly after you moved in?
This was like probably like 2 years of living there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, there was an apparition in the room right now. No, so I tell her this. So she explains to me now. This is when she really starts laying in, like, the belief of our family. And she tells me her story. And I was like, okay, well, that explains a lot. So this is real. This, like, what I saw was real. I'm not crazy. She's like, you're not crazy. This stuff is like...
Well, both things could be true.
It could be true, yeah. But my parents were very open to that. They weren't going to immediately, like, go to the psych ward, you know. Where it gets weird, though, for me is, like, as I grew up, we'd move to different places. And I would still see a spirit come to my room of a blonde lady with a white dress, but the person would be older with every place I went to.
Does your wife know this?
I think I told this story, yeah.
No. Does she know that you've got a blonde lady following you everywhere you go in your bedroom? I'm just wanting to know.
As an adult, I could say probably when I reached 24-ish, it stopped happening. But up until like in my 20s, that apparition grew as I moved to every different. We moved a lot, so it was always this weird thing. It's like there is a thing that is coming with me. You know? So yeah, that was like my occurrence of one situation that happened over time, and my mother told me her thing. It's like to make me feel better. But really, all I did was just like, that's great. There's creepy things out there that are gonna come after us when we're alone. Oh my God. Thank you. And you don't practice the magic anymore because you said you don't want to have that in our life. Thumbs up.
What if that was what brought it into life? What if there's someone to blame?
That's the thing. Who knows? I don't know.
You should start blaming people.
My grandmother's dead, so there's not much I can do about that.
It is 2017. You need someone to blame.
Abuela!
What if it's your abuela's abuela? It could have gone way back.
Well, it's true, because it was her grandmother that did it. So it was my great grandmother. Yeah. And my grandmother did it. Her great grandmother did it. The whole lineage. It stopped at my mom. Mom's like, I'm not doing that. No.
It's too late, Mom. Just roll with
it. Yeah. Cut some chickens up.
Let's fix this.
So what you guys, what are your creepy occurrences?
They lived in new houses, George. You and I lived in old houses.
Actually, the house that I grew up in was owned by a mortician at one point.
Oh,
but
cool.
I mean, I'm assuming he did not work from home because that would make things
Let's
a little
hope he
bit
did.
difficult.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Before dinner, he's just embalming some bodies.
Yeah.
In the lobby.
Just wipe off the
In
table.
the foyer.
I don't have anything that fancy, but
Yeah, but I mean, from what I understand about, spirits and ghosts and poltergeists, again, I'm going to butcher all this. This is all like surface, tertiary things that I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually the spirit of the human being or the soul of the human being.
Mm-hmm.
It was explained to me, again, this, everybody, it seems like there's a lot of different camps, but it was explained to me like you have your soul. And then you have, while you're on this planet, the reason why you're not dead is because all this like, Eastern metaphysical people say they're, earth energies. They hold you down here. It's the thing that, can make you sick. It's the thing that can make you desire certain things. Or if you have a certain, like personalities are kind of developed by the things that you let in the physical world. And when you're ripped from it, like when you don't die properly and when things aren't orderly, like given their exit orders, it's kind of like you've got this, the soul gets ripped out of there and then the energy still kind of is intact. And that's the thing that it doesn't know how to disperse. So that's one type of spiritual, like, and then there's poltergeists and, and then there's demons that, so, but often non-violent, I was told, again, I'm not an expert at this at all, but I was told that the non-violent apparitions that you'll see, ghosts, they are actually the earthly energies that never properly got disposed of.
It serves like as an echo of what you used to be.
Yeah. But, usually it happens because it doesn't have to be necessarily tragedy, but it's certainly something that is, that wasn't naturally disposed of. Yeah. Nothing for you?
Was there more about the...
No, I've never had anything happen to me directly other than like that sleep paralysis. If you've ever had that, it's where
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's creepy as hell.
Oh, it's super
It's happened
creepy.
to me before.
Yeah. It happened to me actually kind of recently, like over the past like year, and it had never happened to me before.
It's called Comic-Con, okay?
That's why we didn't see you for a week.
Yeah,
it all makes sense
exactly.
now.
I was recovering.
Comic-Con demons got it.
Yeah, the Comic-Con demons.
Todd McFarlane Spawn!
No, it's where like your body is like asleep, but your mind is like awake, and basically you're awake, but you physically cannot move. But if you open your eyes, you might see something there. For me, it wasn't that I saw anything. I just I woke up and I couldn't move, and I just felt like there was something next to me. And I felt like it was like this enormous sense of dread. And I don't know what this says about me, but what I wanted to do, because I was laying on my side and I had my hands like up close to my chest, I immediately wanted to just punch outward, even though obviously that wouldn't do anything if it was an actual demon, but I couldn't move.
I don't know. No one ever tries punching a demon. Everyone runs. Maybe that could be the solution.
Maybe
They should a good punch in the mouth. Ow.
Maybe that's why I couldn't, because it was I can't get punched. I'm screwed if I do.
I'll be that demon that ruined everything.
Right. I'll be the
Harold
demon that
got punched.
in the jaw. Now we can't possess people anymore.
Good job, Eugene the demon.
Yeah.
Ruined everything.
But it was a really weird, kind of terrifying few minutes, and then it just felt like everything stopped and I could open my eyes and move again, just sort of all at once. But other than that, I've never had anything happen to me, but it seems like almost everyone I know has some kind of story. And it's there's some people where you can kind of look at it and be like, yeah, okay, you're kind of full of shit. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people where it's
Chase, that's not you. Chase, it's not you.
Don't take it personal.
But there's a lot of people that it's they would not make something like that up. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't think that you're making up that story.
I wouldn't want to.
Right. Right. And so it kind of puts me in this weird place where, like, I have no experiences myself, but, like, I've heard so many that it's like, I don't know what to believe. Maybe if we go to some haunted places, I will finally find a ghost.
And
That's what we
I
need to
used a
do.
Ouija board one time.
Oh, F that and to be. No way. No Ouija boards.
Oh, that's the
No.
guy. The guy I was dating at the time got. He kept waking up with scratches on him from one thing. This was separate from the time that I used it. He used it with his roommates, and then weird shit kept happening to him. The only thing that I talked to when I was using the Ouija board was a little spirit that said its name was Melt, and it didn't know a lot of answers to questions and said it was just there to say hi. I thought that was kind of cute, a little ghost named Melt.
Melted here.
Yeah.
Don't know much.
We were just like, did you melt?
I
And it was
imagine it's like the
"No."
personality of like this guy from Split. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's the same name, I think, like as the owl in Harry Potter.
Hedwig?
Yeah.
Yes, Hedwig.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch
Hey
Split.
guys, it's me, Hedwig. I'm just here to hang out. Melt.
Yeah. Doesn't know much. You
Yeah.
can say hi.
But that was it.
I never believed in Ouija's, not for any other reason except it's like it's made by Hasbro.
Right.
Well, now it is. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, there's, you can get like the NFL Ouija.
Yeah.
they like
It's like Monopoly editions of Ouija board.
So it's kind of like, okay, whatever there was, even the demons are going, whatever, man.
I don't know if Nintendo's done this, but they should do a Mario and Luigi board. That would be solid.
They could tie it in with Luigi's Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Do they have Luigi's Haunted?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
they
like a
do.
video game. They can make some money like that.
Yeah.
You gotta copyright that now. Mm-hmm. Get that patent. So we have talked in the past. Chase hasn't experienced anything yet, but we're hoping in the near
hoping
future
so
he
much.
can get something happen to him.
Yeah.
Metaphysical, not so physical though.
I'll take what I get.
Some of the stuff is like we're going to be going on for our, a little plug for our Famous Monsters Halloween convention. One of the things that we're doing is really kind of embracing the paranormal, ghost hunting, ghost investigating industry.
We have a lot of it in the Bay Area.
Yeah, there's a ton of it in the Bay Area. And, from Winchester Mystery House to a ton of probably far less known, but far more prominent.
Yeah.
How would I say it? Well, prominent is not the right word, but more like poignant incidences. There's like... There serial killers have been caught and hung. There's been, there's endless stories. I can't, they're all kind of jumbled in my mind right now, but.
Yeah, you mentioned about like cemeteries and like hollow ground and stuff like that.
Well, even like wineries, if you think about with these wineries, some of them are on like, Indian burial grounds and some
Dude,
of them
all
are.
of downtown Sonoma is right on top of a
Of a burial ground?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly.
Like literally underneath the road next to that mission right on
Oh,
the
wow. Downtown
square.
area? Oh, wow. Yeah. So, there's...
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Bad planning. City planner fired.
Yeah. Or gone, missing, possessed.
Never seen again.
So, I think Northern California has always had an amazing history. And it's going to be a great time, us going out there and investigating the investigators. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My main goal is to stay the night at some haunted places. Because I know there's always like night tours of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want to actually sleep there. Like I want to go there like right when the sun's going down and don't leave until the sun's coming up.
Bring extra pairs of shorts.
I don't think I'll need them.
Hope you bought your shitting pants.
What? You're gonna shit your pants.
We're pretty excited for that. I'm with you. Like, it's weird. Like, as much as like I believe I've experienced things, I still want to see more.
I'm cool
It's
with
weird.
it. I'm cool with it starting from somewhere around September, but I want it out of my life by Turkey month. By November 1st, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to think about it because I can handle it for like 4 to 6 weeks. I just don't think I want that in my life for 12 months.
Plus, by then you'll be possessed by a whole other thing of like MSG and stuff.
Yeah.
Possessed by the turkey. I am horror 24/7, 365 though. I want all that stuff all the time. There's not enough.
Are you gonna? You should become like the modern Van Helsing.
That would be so cool.
Oh my God.
Dad, we get to
totally
scare
should.
chase every day. That's what I just heard.
Yeah.
I heard that we get to scare chase every day.
but jump scares are dumb though. I want
I'm about that
legitimate-
creepiness, baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get you in your brain.
baby.
All right.
Give me that creepy stuff.
You're gonna go home. There's gonna be like a hand under your pillow.
Oh my goodness,
But there
a real
won't
one?
be a hand under your pillow.
It'll just be George.
George's hand. I'll lift up the pillow.
about it.
It'll slowly pull away. Like, George? She'll be like, no.
Shh, I'm not here.
Why are you in my bed? And where's my wife?
Go home. It's late.
It's dark. I don't know how to get home. Which, side note, it is super creepy where you live. Just want to say that right now.
Oh, yeah,
We're not
yeah.
going to say where it is, for your safety. But oh my God.
Yeah, it's
live in
it's
a
got
horror
like
story.
a country setting. It's like long, like mile-long roads.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily
yeah, I
creepy.
kinda know where
It's
you live.
remote. That's what it is.
That's what makes it creepy.
Dark.
Well, I mean, the fact that you got
Children of the
a
Corn Creek filmed there.
freaking wheat field
Yeah.
that you got to drive through to get. That's like, who grows wheat in the wine country?
I'm waiting for Malachi to come out of
Somebody
nowhere and be like,
This area was-
welcome here.
Somebody needs to tell your neighbor. Somebody needs to tell your neighbor that wheat doesn't bring in as much as grapes. I'm just saying, like, it's a little weird. It's a little out of place.
Not to mention it gets so foggy around here.
Oh, I love
Sometimes
Yeah.
I know that's my favorite.
it. Fog is great.
Everyone, no one could see this, but me and Phil are giving you guys like some looks like you like desolate areas, fog, creepiness. Okay, something's wrong with you guys.
Or something is clearly right with us.
Yeah.
We know what's going on.
Well, I mean, I think the part of the history is, there was a lot of, the even prior to U.S. history, when these were even prior to this being U.S. territory. I mean, the Spanish conquistadors. I mean, there was a lot of battle and violence and death in the western part of the country.
Built on blood.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, again, I don't necessarily glorify that, but the history happened, and it's just fantastic to just dig into it. And every time I hear a little bit more about, like, what history books tell you, kind of a glossed over Charlie Brown version of it, and you're like, wow, this guy was evil.
Wah, 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 slice his throat. Wah, 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 decapitation.
Yeah.
No, it is fun stuff, and I'm super excited for us to cover more of this at the Famous Monsters Halloween convention this fall. Which, if anyone is curious about that, go to our website at Famous Monsters Halloween or Famous Monsters Conventions, and you'll find out everything you need to know there. What guests we're having, what events we're doing. It's shaping up to be a pretty exciting show. Yeah. If you got to go to our past shows, I think this one's going to blow the other ones out of the water.
Totally.
I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we got, for years, we felt like there was a certain format we had to follow. And really, at the end of the day, I think we're just creating a show that we want to go to.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We've exorcised our demons.
We're taking back Halloween. It's ours now. Well, that wraps up, I think. Oh, wait, no.
Well, this area is so, like, rich and just... Aside from, like, all, like, the paranormal and the ghost stuff, there's so many horror movies that kind of, like, are rooted in this area, like The Birds and Scream and, like, there's actually a video store in Santa Rosa that has, like, a giant mural on the side that has all the movies, like, set there. Yeah, Video Droid. And I feel like this area is...
By the way, good for them. Who the heck still got a video store?
Yeah.
I know, they're awesome,
They're
too.
like kicking Netflix. I mean, if you can survive in the midst of the Netflix,
streaming everything you want from your phone era.
I mean, my girlfriend and I go there all the time because it's like, Netflix has a ton of movies, but
It doesn't have all of them.
But do they have Hatchet 3?
Yeah.
Probably
Right,
not.
right. Sometimes you just have to watch Hatchet 3, but
Sometimes you just have to watch it.
we're horror movie fans. They don't have, there's not a ton of like good horror on Netflix. Like there's definitely some, but like,
No, it's true.
Its back catalog, it's lacking.
I look, I got to tell you, man, I loved, Netflix is great for what it is, and I'm glad that, you know, my kids and everybody else, including me, just with a click of a button can get whatever you want. But there is a beauty to rarity and inaccessibility to things. And, you know, I just remember, like, even, I tell this story all the time, but, you know, when I was a kid, I bought this, like, single recorder deck, and I used to have it next to my clock radio. And when the song would play, like, I would pray that my mother wouldn't come and open it, like, dinner, you know, because then it'd screw it up. So there's a rarity to it. Things cost, and people got paid to do what they were doing, and it was, you know, and so you had to go buy a record if you wanted it. You had to go, you know, rent a VHS tape. I just remember going on dates, and we either went to the movies or we went to the video store, and you would spend like half an hour to an hour.
Oh, totally.
Perusing. It was like being in the library or Barnes and Noble.
It's legitimately fun.
Yeah.
Like we go there all the time, and we have like a legitimately fun. Like we get like 3 movies at a time. And they have actually a pretty good selection.
No, they got a huge selection. Yeah. So I mean, I totally miss that, and you know, I don't know if, you know, this new generation can possibly understand that feeling that you get from being able to find something because you're on a quest for something rare.
This Netflix and chill era doesn't get the blockbuster and walk around for an hour and stumble upon something you didn't expect to watch that night area.
And I've seen some
and
really
stay out of the XXX room.
Not that way. Not those. But like I remember like even Blockbuster, which had the weird tendency of physically censoring a lot of its horror movies. Especially
black
the
bars and
foreign
stuff.
ones for some reason. And there was so much like when Japanese horror was like a really big thing, when everyone was like super excited about Ringu and Ju-on and everything. They had a huge Asian horror section, and so many of them, like Ichi the Killer, totally censored. Which sucks because I was really excited to watch it because I'm super into that and like audition and everything. But like we found like one time, like my friends and I found this little it was like a little anthology set of like short films, almost sort of like VHS, but it was Japanese horror. And the first one was about like a spider woman, but in going into that story, there was like this underpass that they were talking about right at the beginning where there was a ghost of a lady that would run at you really fast, and she was called Turbo Hag. I feel like I've told you
you told me about this.
before. Yeah, which is really funny to just like Turbo Hag, like
Precursor
which is
to
hilarious.
the Power Rangers, of course.
Oh yeah. When there was Rita Repulsa, there was Turbo Hag.
Right. But no, I mean it was like none of us had ever heard of that. We hadn't researched it before. We just found it and was like, this looks fun. And now we have Turbo Hag forever. So.
It's very amazing. You know, as a filmmaker, I learned what would have a broadest audience, and it's always action movies and horror. It crosses all, because what scares me scares the guy in South Africa, and what scares the guy in Egypt scares me. Like it's the other universal language. And so, you know, I think it's fantastic. I love, you know, learning why something would be scary in, you know, the Middle East, let's say, and then realizing, oh, okay, now I understand. Oh, now it's scary to me. You know, so
it is pretty cool. Well, like Blockbuster, we also have to go.
Wow.
With the power of Christ, I compel the rest of this. As always, I'm George, and with me today is Eleni.
Hi. Bye.
He's not here.
Demon Phil.
And
And Chase. Chase, can you tell people where they can follow us?
yeah, FMOFL on Facebook, or just search Famous Monsters of Filmland and we'll pop up there. Twitter and Instagram, just at Famous Monsters, all one word. Go find us there.
Yeah, and if you want to watch our new FM TV show, where can they find out, Phil?
They can go to Famous Monsters channel. You have to put channel in there because we've been around for so long and there are so many tribute sites. But if you go to Famous Monsters channel, you can catch this podcast on there. You can catch our TV segments, and you can catch all of our wonderful digital-only content that we've been putting up. So, and please subscribe because that helps.
That'll be on YouTube?
That's on YouTube, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Catch us there. Good night.
Good night.
Demons.
Demon seed.
Demons.
That's pretty good.